This is my first session back after my Vegas trip. Probably won't be traveling till beginning of next year. Most likely Texas will be the first stop, but I'll keep everyone posted. For now, we're in for 500. Let's get into it. Here, look down at Queen Jack 10-10 double suited in the hijack. There's two early position limpers. I make 30, the button, and both the blinds call. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes 9-6-5 with 2 spades. When it checks to me, I check. Button bets 45. Both players fold to me, and I also fold. Here, look down at Ace, King, Queen 2, double suited in middle position. Under the gun opens at 20, folds to me, I call, and we get 6 other callers. So we're going 8 ways to a flop. Flop comes 9-8-5 with 2 hearts. When it checks to me, I bet 150, late position caller, and then the small blind pushes for 215, folds back to me, I call, and the late position player calls. So we're going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 3 of diamonds, which could give me some additional equity. I push, late position player calls, and we're going 3 ways to a river. River brings an absolutely perfect card for my opponents in the 7 of spades. Late position player shows 7-6-4-2 for the flop straight. Small blind mucks, and I muck as well. So in the hole, $500 here pretty early. Couple hands into the second buy-in, I look down at Ace Jack 10-9, single suited to the ace in the small blind in a straddled pot. Under the gun opens to 30. There's a late position caller. I call, the big blind, and the straddler call. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-10-8 rainbow. I check. Checks to the under the gun player who bets 100. Folds back to me, and I push for my remaining 465. Folds back to the under gun player, and he calls. So we're going heads up to a run out. Turn brings a 7, improving us to a straight. River brings a queen of clubs, bringing in the backdoor flush. And I show my hand, and he looks a little bit, and he turns over 10-9. So don't see his other 2 cards, but happy to double up here in the early going of this second buy-in. Here I look down at Ace, Ace, Queen 10, single suited to the queen under the gun. I open a 20, 1 caller to my left, middle position player makes it 60. The button calls, and back to me. Being out of position and being deeper stacked, I decided to take the lower variance route and just call, and the other player calls as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes King 10-6 rainbow. I check. It checks to the original raiser who bets 75. The button calls, I call, and the other player folds. So we're going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings an 8 of diamonds, bringing in the backdoor flush draw. I check, and action checks through. So still 3 ways to a river. River brings a 9, bringing in a 1-liner on the board. I decided to turn my hand into a bluff. I am blocking the nuts, so I bet 115. The original raiser thinks for a bit and makes it 450. The button folds, and I decide to fold. They do say if you don't ever get caught bluffing, you aren't bluffing enough, right? So he takes it down. Here, look down at Queen Jack Jack 7, double suited in middle position in a straddle pot. Player to my right calls, I call, and there's 4 other callers. So we're going 7 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-4-2 with 2 clubs. Big blind bets 20. I call, one of the late position players calls. Back to the small blind, he check raises to 190. Big blind calls, and me and the late position player get out of the way. Turn brought a 3 of clubs. Big blind bets 400. Small blind calls. River brings a 4. Small blind pushes, and the big blind calls. And they ended up having 10-10 for the small blind, and the big blind had ace-5 of clubs. Here, look down at ace-9, 8-7, double suited in early position. I open a 20. I get 2 late position callers, and then the button makes it 40. Small blind calls, I call, and the other 2 players call. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-8-5 with 2 spades. Action checks to the button, who bets 100. Small blind calls, I fold, and he gets another late position caller. So they're going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 6 of clubs. Small blind pushes for 375, and the other 2 players call. So they're going 3 ways to a river. River brings a king of spades. Late position player pushes for 375, and the button calls. They turn over their hands, and the button shows his hand. He has ace 10-10-4, so he flopped top set with enough flush draw and got there on the river. So he's going to scoop a massive pot. Here I look down at Ace King Queen 10, single suited to the ace in early position. Player to my right limps. I make it 25. Player to my left calls. Cutoff makes it 115. The button and the player to my right call back to me. I really took a while here to contemplate my decision. I really was very close to re-popping it in, but I thought better of it. The cutoff most likely here is going to have aces. I never played with him, but from the couple hours here, it seems like he's pretty tight. So I just decided to call, and we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes Jack 4-3, all spades. Player to my right bets 300. I fold. Late position player thinks for a little bit and says fold, and the button folds as well. Then the cutoff, before he throws his cards in the muck, he turns over the ace of spades and says that he had aces with the naked ace of spades. So Middle position player takes it down. Here I look down at ace, king, queen 7, single suited to the king in the small blind. There's an early position limp, middle position raised to 20, 2 late position callers, I call, and the other 2 players call. So we're going 6 ways to a flop. Flop comes jack 10-6 rainbow. I check, checks the original raiser who bets 50. Late position player makes it 150, back to me. It's been a slow decline ever since I doubled up earlier, down to the amount I have now. I'm never in really bad shape against any hand, so figure now is a good time to push, which is what I do. Back to the original raiser. He tanks for a while, probably over a minute, but eventually calls, and the late position player calls for less. So we're going 3 ways to a run out. Turn brings an 8 of diamonds, giving us some additional equity. River brings a 7, so we brick out on our straight, but it's a 7 of diamonds, so I turn over my king, queen of diamonds, and we are good. So here, look down at king, king, 10-10, single suited in middle position in a straddled pot. There's 1 limper. I make it 30, and we get 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, king, 3 rainbow. When it checks to me, I bet 105, and everyone folds, so we take it down. Here, look down at ace, ace, jack 10, single suited to the ace in middle position. Early position limp, I make it 25. We get 4 callers, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes king, 6-5 with 2 clubs. When it checks to me, I bet 75. We get 2 late position callers, and guy on my right is thinking about what to do, and it looks like he's about to push, and that's what he does. So he pushes for 480, back to me. Here, I'm just thinking about whether to call or push. If I call, I believe that one of these other 2 players are going to call as well, just getting a great price. So based on the stack size as well, if I call, $480 here and leave myself with about 1,000, and it would just be a really awkward spot for, like a straight card to hit on the turn and then for this big stack to push me all in. So I just decided to go with it and push and, get it down potentially to heads up. And it's back to seat 5, who has me covered. And he tanks for probably about 2 minutes. He's really having a hard time with the decision. He says he has 2 pair and eventually folds. So we're going heads up to a run out. Turn brings an 8 of diamonds, so no help to me. River brings a black 10, but it's the 10 of spades, and no help to me again. And my opponent turns over his hand. He has 9, 6, 6, 3, so he flopped middle set, and he's going to hold, so he takes it down. Here I look down at ace, king, 5-5, double suited in middle position. Early position player makes it 20. I call, and there's 4 other callers, so we're going 6 ways to a flop. Flop comes 5-4-3 with 2 diamonds. When it checks to me, I bet 50. We get 2 callers, so we're going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 4 of clubs, bringing in the backdoor flush draw. When it checks to me, I check. Late position player bets 60. We get a call from the small blind, and back to me, I decide to just call here. Don't really see the point of raising. Might as well let everyone get their flush there on the river. So I call, and we're going 3 ways to a river. River brings a queen of hearts, and it seems like me calling on the turn works out perfectly as the small blind leads $400. And here I'm just kind of Hollywooding a little bit. I am slightly worried about queens, but I mean, if he has queens, he has queens. Nothing I can do. So I push, late position player folds, and the small blind doesn't waste too much time before calling. I turn over my hand, and he turns over his, and he has ace-6, 5-4. So it looks like the turn was the perfect card, as we have the best hand here. So we're going to take down a pretty nice pot here. Played for a little while longer after that full house hand. Didn't get a ton to play. We've played for about 5.5 hours, and I decided to rack up. What's up, guys? Wayne back here with you. So today I was in for 1,000, out for 2,060, so profit of 1,060. Started out with the ace, king, queen 2 double suited. Essentially got it all in with the nut flush draw, bricked out. So I was in the hole for 500 about 30 minutes in, which, kind of stinks, but patience definitely the name of the game. You just got to kind of stick with it. Shortly after that, had the ace jack 10-9, ended up check raising all in with the trip 10s on 10-10-8, ended up doubling up. Really after that, just kind of bled down to a little bit over $500. Got it all in with the ace, king, queen 7 with the top wrap on jack 10 flop. Went the hard way with the runner flush, so that was pretty cool. And then the nut flush did me in again as I bricked out. But in that hand, I did get the third player to fold his 2 pair. So, small victory there. I didn't lose my whole stack. And then towards the end there, against the same player that could have busted me, I had ace, king, 5-5, flopped top set on 5-4-3, turned the 4, and then he ended up having 5-4. So Pretty, fortunate situation for me to, have the cooler there. Again, I think I played pretty well. It was first time I played here in about 2-3 weeks, so there was definitely a lot of new players I hadn't seen, so game was pretty good overall. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button. If your viewing experience could have been better, please let me know how down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.